he tests my boundaries, and he pissed me off today. So today we had us a family meeting, right? And we was getting together trying to see what we gonna do for the summer, whether we gonna do like a vacation, family vacation, or like a family reunion or something. Um, but this cousin of mine, he tests my boundaries and he pissed me off. So we was all together having this little family reunion, planning our stuff, like talking about what we gonna do. And this dude, he said no over talking people, no talking without raising your hand, set little rules and guidelines or whatever. Okay, so everybody was following like the little rules or whatever, raising their hand, talking, you know, doing everything they're supposed to do. But then my cousin, she talking and she looking at me right in my face. And so we started like a whole little dialogue with each other, you know, and dude turns and looks me right in my face, raises his hand, and they call on him, and then he turns around, he looks me right in my face, and he's like, "Hey, um, I said no over talking and no talking out of turn." And I'm like, dude, we having an open conversation, but you know, he made me feel like, I'm like, listen, I'm not over talking, sir. We're having an open conversation right now. Um, this dude had me in my feelings. He had me feeling uncomfortable. And my growth, I had to stand on what I said, even when it's inconvenient. Like, I had to stand on what I said. Like, hey, we just having a conversation, like an open dialogue. Like we were not over talking each other. We just having a conversation, just like I'm having a conversation with you. And so I had to tell him that, like, even though he's family, I had to stand up to him for what I was saying to him. Like, I understand what you're saying, but you got to understand what I'm saying. Because if I didn't earn my respect, he wasn't going to give me my respect. You know what I'm saying? So we continue with the meeting, and, everything was going okay, and everybody was talking and, saying what they had to say. And, he said what he had to say, and everybody's raising their hand and everything was going on. And y'all not gonna believe what happened. You know, y'all just not gonna believe what happened. This dude phone rang, and the dude answered his phone. And I peeped over there and looked, it was a woman. And he tells her, like, in the meeting, you could come to the back door and I'll let you in. I guess he got like one of them keypads or something. He was like, yeah, you could come to the back door and I'll let you in. And I raised my hand, like, cause I got something to say. I raised my hand, and he's still like talking to her, like, punch the number, like 6 1 some. I don't really know the whole number, but literally everybody's like in silence, like listening to this cat tell this girl how to get in the door. Yes, the same dude who just yelled at me talking about I overtalked somebody in the meeting when I didn't, is now having a whole conversation with a lady with blonde hair and red lipstick on. So they point at me to talk, and I'm like, earlier you told me not to speak when others are talking. But then you take a whole phone call from some lady with blonde hair and red lipstick. I feel like this not this some inconsistency going on here. And you trying to set some rules, and Does it only apply to who? You, or who the rules apply to? You know what I'm saying? I didn't yell, I said it in a quiet thing. I said I'm just trying to get some clarity on what's really going on and who these rules apply to. So this dude gets up and just leaves out the meeting because I don't know if his little feelings was hurt or if he felt like at the time what he was saying sounded right to him, but then when he got called out on his stuff, you know what I'm saying? He just had to get up and run. But when it comes to me, you know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, then I can be accountable for being wrong. You understand what I'm saying? But I got boundaries too. I respect my elders because he is my elder. But just because you're my elder, you're not going to say something to me that I feel is that I'm not wrong on. So I have to protect myself and I have to protect my boundaries. And that's just the way it is. So in closing, I feel like this. He told me not to speak, right? He told me not to speak when somebody else is talking. Then he answers his phone mid meeting. Funny how respect gets enforced but not practiced, right? You know what I'm saying? You want to enforce it, but then you don't want to practice it. It's like I want to put out the rules, but I don't want to follow it. The rules are for you, but they don't apply to me. That's crazy. But you want to be the elder of the family and you want us to follow your rules. That don't work. Real talk with Tay.